everybody, welcome back to G for G. I'm your host, Napalm Donna. We are doing the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. Today is February 5th of 2016. Today's background soundtrack is brought to you by the Chrono Cross OST. So let's go ahead and jump into the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. We have a limited edition item on sale. It is the Gamma Hammer. Or if you're from New York like me, the Gamma Hammer. The Gamma Hammer. It is very similar to a few items in the game. Like the nuclear fuel rod, it's palette swapped, but there are a few things in the game that look like it. It is melee, energy, radiation, and tech. So de-teching this will make it so that you cannot use it. Downgrade, of course, will mess this up. Irradiated applies radiation exposure to characters that use melee attacks on this target. When you use it, it has a 2-round cooldown, and it does basically what Red Hulk's bomb does. Blinded, poisoned, staggered, off balance, winded, cornered, incapacitation, intimidate, exhausted, corruption, halitosis, or in some cases, extreme superpowers. I think I will go ahead and snag it, just simply because it will have some pretty good synergy with the common meta today of being Gamma related. So we are a full week and a little bit into the PvP Season 27, and believe it or not, I have actually not seen the Gamma meta materialize yet. I do happen to have a Premonition Actuator. I do have a Photon Ray. I am holding onto my pills for the big brother. I have a little brother currently. The group bosses have been going along nicely. I do have Red She-Hulk and Winter Soldier at this point. So I don't necessarily need the boxes anymore other than for gear. I would like to get the mine layer. I did get the chem cannon and already had a chem cannon, but I am hoping to get a mine layer at some point. My defense is holding on pretty well over here. They lost one battle a couple nights ago. They went 2 for 2 Thursday night, as you can see here. One lost, and then they lost 2 throughout the day today. But they are hanging in there pretty well. This is currently my defense. Hugins Eye, the Lantern of Doom, the Scroll of Udamaroth, the Overwatch Protocol to give a free turn as a free action, and of course the Lunacy. My agent is a tactician. That is Infiltrator Emma and Bruiser Kuurth. Now, I'm still running this as they are getting things done. They have not had a bad losing streak. The Hugins Eye is still there, definitely, just to protect a little bit against melee attacks, but as we do know, this is not a 100% guarantee anymore. I could run other things here like the Cosmic Cardinal just to increase everybody's defense, keep stamina going nicely. I would prefer this to be a special functionality item, but also potentially another free action would go well. The reason why I'm running this team is because with Snappy Service, I should be able to use at least 2 out of these 3 in any given round. Hopefully the scroll goes early and then it just becomes Lantern Lunacy the whole rest of the way. But if it was Lantern Lunacy in the beginning, not necessarily bad, unless of course the enemy team has their own Mystic Shroud up, and then this and this wouldn't be quite as effective. And because of the way my agent gear is, there is nothing in my agent's hand, so they're gonna have to look at my buffs to see my buffs and my debuffs to see what is going on over there. Definitely don't want to put the scroll in the first slot, because then that really gives it away. It may take a little bit for somebody to realize I'm running it. On offense, I'm running still the Quit, the Lantern. The Debbie is now in for the Experiment with a control device, and the Scroll of Udamaroth. The Debbie is definitely doing a lot of work. It really helps shut down a lot of teams to a decent amount. I have debied a blackest void from an enemy agent that was running early in the turn order, so that was good. It works pretty well against Kuurth. And the Debbie and the mind control from the quick gun earlier today on my stream did a huge amount of work in keeping a team locked down, as I basically controlled them and they kept hitting each other off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the simulator, and I will run some of the radiated gear over here, and we'll see how the gamma hammer works out. I'm just about done 5-starring everything in the Spec Ops, as I currently don't have a lot of the gear that I would want. I definitely would like to pick up the detonator rifle, but I did pick up the uranium one. So this is who I was using against a blaster Zizax, Star-Lord with the hair trigger ISO, and Psylocke. These two actually could be a very, very good offensive PvP team, especially with hair trigger on him and the quick action blade for her level 1. That works out really, really well. Plus, you know, Star-Lord keeps you nice and buff with snappy, with his spray and pray over there. So if your agent is running a finest hour gear, that's certainly a good way to go. So we will get the gamma hammer. As you can see there, I have the Heroes for Hire PDA. We've been going back and forth on the video for that. I'm beginning to like it a little bit more than I used to, but I still don't think it's that great. If I had gotten to demo it and then had to pay gold for it, I actually would have passed. So let's move over to some of the Spec Ops related items over here. And then we can get back to full screen. It's kind of weird that it makes you go a few clicks in for the current gear. I mean, you would think it would appear right up at the top. There's the Gamma Knuckles. Won that on a daily spitter somewhat recently. There's the little brother. There is the nuclear fuel rod, which is of course what looks like what I have. However, this causes radiation exposure on the agent when you use it, but it does give you a nice 3 stacks. If you have a way of protecting from your radiation yourself, could definitely be a way to go. I have a photon ray that I researched, and then I actually won one in a spinner. That sucks. Take the rapier out. Go over to page 8 again. We will pick up the Premonition Actuator. So now I have 2 set pieces. I have mirror images and mind control on the enemy team. For the photon ray, I have one enemy gets gamma exposure and radiation exposure. Gonna take out the weather control device. Go back over to page 8. There's the weaker version of that. Then there is the radiation injector. Now another thing that you can run with this set, and I like this a lot, I have always liked this item, and it's farmable. It's this one right here, the gamma radiation emitter. There's no way to make this a quick action because it's ranged, tech, and energy. The Peace Pulsar would make it a quick action, but that's about it. The entire enemy team gets radiation exposure, and they also get gamma exposure, where nearby energy attacks may apply radiation exposure. Very, very good with people like Havoc and Pepsi. Speaking of which, let's actually have some fun with those guys. We'll bring in my newly level 15 Havoc. And we'll bring in Pepsi for fun. These guys both definitely benefit from a lot of the ISOs that are dropping in this Spec Ops. Havoc can use a lot of the energy to gamma related ones, and Pepsi, of course, he does it too. Be mindful, the Worthy is immune to gamma, and there are reports coming in that if you use gamma attacks on Kuurth, she will just simply dodge it. So be careful when you're using that in PvP. Now you see Havoc went and tanked the power armor because he has the ISO that says he protects allies from energy attacks. Potentially very good in the meta right now, especially if gamma starts showing up. So the enemy team has radiation exposure, and that came off of Havoc. Here on my agent's turn, we've definitely got a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to go ahead and use the Premonition Actuator. So now we all have mirror images, and they have been mind controlled. At this point, there is a lot that I can do. I could use the Photon Ray, I could use the Radiation Injector. So there's 1, 2, 3 pieces of the set, or just hit this guy with the Gamma Hammer, which is what I'm going to do. There's the mind control in action. And of course, we all know that if I fully overcharge, I'll just wipe out everything on the map over here. So I'm just going to be doing this from now. So because Sin meleeed my agent, she's definitely going to be fully stacked with Gamma. At this point, because of the cooldown actually works in your favor a little bit as it pushes it off the table and you can now do other things. So I'm going to hit her with the Radiation Injector. As you can see, it does do pretty decent damage, and if we look at her, she's got radiation exposure times 3, radiation fatigue, so she's going to take extra damage from it, and she's going to even take extra damage from energy. Just like this. Look at that. 9k. So now the other application that you can use with the Gamma Hammer is, of course, with Fixer and Winter Soldier. How that works out is because of using the Gamma Hammer, you get to cause Red Hulk's level of debuffs. And when you do that, you can really set up for a good blast wave. So we're going to change things up a little bit. I think he is on a flight deck mission, so I can't use him. Yeah, he is. Alright. What we can do is, let me grab Fixer. So we'll grab Fixer, and the other thing that I will do is I will change this up slightly. Rather than bringing all of these gamma-related items over here, I'm going to substitute the Charge of Witches in for this. So basically, I'm going to be applying side effects with Breakdown. And we're going to treat Fixer like he is Winter Soldier and basically just put out a blast mine and then blow it up. Alright, so Charge of Witches. And if we look, I now cause side effects and breakdown, so I'm going to hit the BR Theta. And if we look, he's got a decent amount of debuffs on him. Not a tremendous amount, but he's got some. So, if this was PvP, there is a nice little trick you can do with Fixer over here. Switch him to his tactician. Give him a tactician bonus. Switch him back to blaster. Put out the mines. And now watch the damage we do to the BR Theta, who has already been debuffed relatively well. Didn't seem to blow up on the Theta. Very interesting. Even though it did reasonable... Maybe it did blow up, but we didn't see it, and all the extra attacks over there. That is certainly a possibility. But you can imagine if we had a good amount of dots out there, that BR Theta just would have collapsed. The Ion Theta, of course, had a decent amount of damage done to him. But I definitely think with all the energy and gamma-related ISOs that are coming out in this Spec Ops, it is entirely possible for some old characters to come back. Havoc, Iron Patriot are certainly in some good spots at this point in time. If you do use the Winter Soldier in PvP, please be aware, reports are definitely coming in that the Little Debbie is really shutting down Winter Soldier and his mines. Trying to apply mines when the Little Debbie is out there makes things pretty rough. People are not able to get the mines out particularly well because of the Little Debbie interrupting it. I believe that's JW who's been reporting that to me. And I do know that the Adamantium process has been saying that the Little Debbie's been wrecking havoc with Kuurth. I have definitely witnessed that. When I use the Debbie on offense, there have been many times when I have shut down Kuurth's Love Me and her Fear Me. And nothing is more fun than shutting down the Fear Me so that you can avoid that reduced damage and you don't get the cowers. A lot of people are saying that Red She-Hulk is doing a good job. Got a member of the Adamantium process who is using Red She-Hulk and Red Hulk on defense along with some rather normal gear and is winning. Has a screenshot of Red She-Hulk and Red Hulk doing a ton of wins on AFK defense. Now, my heroes are getting pretty good. My tacticians are almost done. Kang is training right now, which leaves CSR, Constrictor, Loki, Doom, and Mr. Fantastic. So only 5 more tacticians to go for me. Up next would definitely be Loki. CSR is kind of holding out a little bit, simply due to the fact that he is a deploy. Maybe Doom or Loki will be next, Constrictor after that, and then Fantastic. After that, it'll be the Blasters, and of course, I'm probably going to kick over Punisher, just to get all 14s on my generalist, and Winter Soldier, and Red Shulky are going to be up there. My Daemon is already 15 if we ever do get Chapter 10, which will be, of course, really nice. Nothing particularly crazy in PvP so far. I had a Spitfire take out my agent earlier in the day on the stream because Kuurth countered when I used the Fire Tornado and Hafe just let Kuurth walk all over my agent. So here's where I am in the Spec Ops. I got a 5-star here, 1 more time through for 5-star, maybe 2 more times over there. I do have this, the uranium-loaded machine gun. I am lacking the detonating rifle. And I am lacking the ionizing radiator, but I do have the, another drop. That I can't remember right now. Oh yeah, the photon ray. I do have the, photon ray, which of course was in the spinner, and I researched it, so I have 2 of those. But I kind of would like to get the ionizing radiator. It reminds me a lot of the X-Obliv same model, just different colors. I could definitely see some good use for this, although we do have other gear that provides similar items, so it's not super necessary. And in terms of my lockboxes, of course Winter Soldier is done. My Lizard is not doing too badly. I did get one dupe recently, but only 3 more to go for Lizard. And still really hoping to get that mine layer from this. Not because I think it's that great, just because I think it would be nice to have. Still, my least favorite Zizzax is the Bruiser version, but Mordo and Fixer have done phenomenally well against him. I have put up my biggest amount of damage against Bruiser Zizzax with hitting 1,000,000, thanks to Mordo and Fixer along with Flanked. And I still think some of my favorites are the Blaster version and the Tactician version, just because I get to bring really fun people to that. The Blaster, like I said, I've been using Psylocke and Star-Lord. And for the Infiltrator version, I like to bring Hogun and Sabretooth to that one. The Tactician one, I sometimes do Hogun and Fandral, but I've recently branched out on that one also to do some other ones. Armory has been in a really good place on offense. I'm now building up my defensive armory when I get good items over here. Trying to work down these combs. That's what I really want to replace next. Are the combs and these headsets. And there are definitely people approaching 1,000,000 in their armory bonuses if they slot a bunch of the 64 gold item. You can get over 1,000,000 on them, which is just fucking crazy. And I love it when people build, they beat those guys in PvP, because then it's like, ha, all your money means nothing, you idiot. So that wraps up the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. We've got 16 days left of PvP, so just a little over 2 weeks. So I hope everybody's getting it done the way they want to get it done, and getting the ranks that they want. Hopefully everybody has Red She-Hulk and Winter Soldier at this point. Haven't run into Winter Soldier yet on defense, as I think he's a little too chaotic for it. But I can imagine some people using him on offense, especially the magnetized trick, along with a lot of debuffs. So, take care everybody, have yourselves a good weekend, and remember, I am Twitch streaming my PvP matches for PvP Season 25. Just follow me on Twitch and Twitter. You will get the notifications as to when I go live. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube to know about when my videos are coming out. Peace out everybody, have a good one.